Hi, I'm JP McMahon from Aniar Restaurant, Tartare and Cava in Galway, and it's great to be part of the Galway Oyster Festival. It's always something I look forward to a lot. In Tartare, our cafe and wine bar, we have a selection of oysters that we have on year round. We have, of course, Kelly's oysters, which are synonymous with Galway. We also have Flaggy Shore and Doon Castle, and then we have another oyster from Lissadell, which is just up the road in Sligo. So that's one I'm going to demonstrate today. A lot of people, I suppose, feel a bit nervous when they eat oysters and that. I think it's a really wonderful thing to I suppose to embrace. They've been eaten in Ireland from the very start. I mean, all the way back 10,000 years ago when people first came here. Oysters are one of our first foods, so we really need to embrace them. So the oyster I'm going to demonstrate is one of our new dishes on Tartare, which we actually put on for the Oyster Festival. Most of the oysters we serve cold or slightly warm. This one we're going to char and melt a little bit of Durris cheese, which is a cheese from West Cork. So I'm going to open up the oysters to begin with. Always just open them up from the back and make sure you use an oyster knife. And once you have opened up the hinge at the back, just bring the knife all the way around, and there's a little hinge that you'll find. Now I like to give them a little rinse just to take the grit out of them. Not all oyster farmers will recommend that because some of them will argue that it'll depreciate the taste, but for me really the taste is in the chewing, and a lot of people again don't know that you have to chew oysters. So again, just open at the back and then work away, and try not to puncture the oyster. So you're trying to end up with just a nice bit of flesh. You can give it a smell. It should smell nice and fresh. There should be no taint or anything like that. And like, oysters are really a magical food, and it's really a great experience to work with them. I like to turn them around just to face them up. But again, some oyster shuckers don't like to do that. Well, okay, so that's the hard part over. We'll move that. So what we're going to do is we're going to dress them first. A little bit of cold pressed rapeseed oil, which is, I suppose for me, it's the Irish equivalent of an extra virgin olive oil. But I think oil is very important with the oyster. Then we have a little bit of acidity. Most people like to put lemon on. This is a little elderflower vinegar that we made from earlier on in the year. And then lastly, I'm going to put a little piece of cheese. Now, you don't need too much because again, the cheese is quite strong, and you want it to kind of complement the oyster. And again, I'm using Durris, but you can use any Irish farmhouse cheese, or you can even go further afield. You could use a blue cheese, you could use Gorgonzola, anything like that. So after we've done that, we're going to char them. So let's put it up on the table. Now, so we just want to melt the cheese. And of course you could put this under a grill if you're at home, but it's much more fun to blowtorch them. And your friends will think you're cool. So the cheese will also protect the oyster. And once you see that kind of grilled cheese look on the top of the cheese, it's done. So you don't need to over grill it, because oysters they're just a mussel, so that they don't need an awful lot of cooking. Now, to finish off, we're going to put a little bit of sea salt from Achill Island, and then we're just going to take a little bit of pickled elderflower, again, that we preserved earlier on. And I mean, the essential thing when you're cooking or eating an oyster is to balance the salt, the fat, and the acidity. So the oysters themselves are quite rich and quite salty. So I always find you're trying to look for elements that are robust, like a nice oil, or some lemons or limes, or you can go, as we are here, with the elderflower vinegar. And we'll just put a small bit more vinegar, again, just to cut through the cheese. Okay, so that's it. That is our Lissadell oyster with some Durrish cheese and some pickled elderflower.